Today on Days of Our Lives, we have got a knife in EJ's back courtesy of Gwen, Xander stepping up for Sarah in a moment she really needed, and Lexie Carver continuing to absolutely blow her family's minds with every single thing she does and says. This episode is packed from top to bottom, so let's get into all of it right now. We start with the Carvers, and honestly, any scene with this family together right now feels like a gift because we know the clock is ticking on Lexie's time back in Salem. They are all together enjoying some dessert, which is exactly the kind of warm, ordinary, beautiful domestic moment that hits so differently when you factor in everything surrounding it. Lexie tries to send the boys out to go have some fun, maybe get some air, do something outside the house, but nobody is going anywhere. There is absolutely nowhere else any of them would rather be than right there in that room with her, and you feel that in your bones watching it play out. Abe and Theo are not budging, and Lexie gets it. She accepts it, and so they settle in together. And then Lexie, being Lexie, starts asking questions. Because of course she does. She has been gone, and there is so much to catch up on, and her mind is sharp and she wants to know everything. She starts digging into the DiMera kidnappings, wanting all the details about what has been happening with that family while she was away. But that only lasts for a moment, because Lexie has a bigger agenda for this conversation, and she pivots to it quickly.
She wants to talk about Theo.
Specifically, she wants to talk about how incredibly proud she is of him for becoming the DiMera CEO, and you can see how much that accomplishment means to her on a personal level.
She is beaming about it.
But then comes the twist that nobody saw coming, and it is very Lexie. She is shocked that Theo stepped down for her. Genuinely shocked. Because in Lexie's mind, Theo had something real there. He had a chance to take that name, that complicated and often terrible name, and actually make it stand for something good for once. She thinks he could have changed what it means to be a DiMera from the inside out. And because she believes that so completely, she wants him to go back. She is telling her son to go back to the DiMera CEO seat. Let that sink in for a second. What in the world is going on here, right? But this is so perfectly Lexie. She has always had this complicated, layered relationship with the DiMera side of her identity, always been caught between wanting nothing to do with that legacy and also believing it could be redeemed. And right now, with her son at the center of it, that complexity is fully on display. Abe is not having it, obviously. He is not remotely on board with sending Theo back into that viper pit, and he makes his position very clear. But Lexie waves off his concern with the confidence of a woman who has survived more DiMera drama than almost anyone alive. She is sure Theo can hold his own against the likes of EJ and Kristen. She even suggests maybe Theo should talk to Tony about it and seriously consider returning. And she makes a point of reminding everyone that the DiMeras are her family too. That line lands with weight. Abe looks at her and says, simply, that she is not one of those DiMeras. And then, with beautiful Abe energy, he immediately tries to change the subject to game night, because what else do you do when your wife is suggesting your son go back into the most dangerous corporate situation in Salem? You pivot to board games. God bless Abraham Carver. Meanwhile, Gwen is showing up at Leo's door, and she has something big. She comes in with this story, this incredible, potentially explosive story involving her and EJ, and she pitches it to Leo as his golden egg. The thing that could make his career, the kind of story that journalists dream about. But here is the catch, and it is a dark one. Leo can only crack this story if she is dead. That is the condition. That is the whole shape of it. EJ has double-crossed her, which honestly, was anyone surprised, and Gwen is returning the favor in the most calculated, Gwen way imaginable.
She is not panicking.
She is not falling apart. She is setting up insurance. She has a sealed letter with her lawyer containing every single detail, and the instructions are simple. If anything happens to Gwen, the lawyer hands that letter to Leo. It is her dead man switch, and she is completely clear-eyed about all of it, and what makes this scene so genuinely moving beneath all the scheming and dark plotting is what Leo's reaction is. Because Leo could have played this as pure journalistic hunger, right? Golden egg, career-making story, all of that. But instead, he is devastated. He has been through so much loss, and the thought of losing Gwen, his chaos twin, as he calls her, is something he cannot process. He tells her flat out that no story and no glory that would come from telling it could ever replace her. That line is genuinely beautiful, And it says everything about what these two are to each other underneath all the chaos and the schemes and the ridiculous situations they constantly find themselves in. Leo is touched and horrified in equal measure, and it is a really layered scene that shows you exactly why this friendship is one of the better things the show has going for it right now. Over in the DiMera mansion, Dr. Rolf is summoning EJ, and the news is not good. One of the rats died. Again. Now look, if you are EJ DiMera and your mad scientist is calling you downstairs to tell you about dead rats, your life has taken some genuinely strange turns, and yet here we are. Rolf, being Rolf, is not particularly alarmed. He thinks the rat may have died of natural causes. He has been using the drug extensively on their little rat test subjects, and this is the first death, so he feels good about the compound being sound. He is optimistic. EJ is not reassured even slightly, and honestly, who would be? Your scientist is explaining away a dead rat with natural causes while working on a drug that is presumably meant for human beings. That is not a great foundation for confidence. EJ heads upstairs from the lab and finds Paulina Price waiting for him, which is the kind of ambush that even EJ DiMera was not prepared for today. She comes straight at him about the state medical board censuring him. He is closer than ever to losing the hospital. The walls are closing in on him from multiple directions simultaneously, and Paulina is not here to be gentle about it. She delivers the news with that particular Paulina energy that is impossible to argue with and equally impossible to tune out. And then, just to make EJ's day complete, the good news arrives. Gwen is apparently lined up to buy the hospital. The look on EJ's face. The daggers his eyes are shooting could, as the script so perfectly puts it, kill a rhino. He is furious, he is cornered, and he does what EJ does when he is cornered. He calls Gwen and starts screaming immediately. No preamble, no pleasantries, just straight into the fury. And Gwen does not flinch. Not even a little. She looks at him and delivers one of the best lines of the episode. You stabbed me in the back, and now I'm returning the knife. Blade first. The energy in that confrontation is everything. Gwen has the confidence of someone who has already set all of her insurance in place and knows that EJ knows it. She is completely secure in this moment. She is not afraid of his fury because his fury cannot hurt her anymore. She has already built the walls. She tells him that she feels good about being brought in, and he feels good about being pushed out, and if he makes any move against her, that sealed letter with her lawyer is waiting to expose everything. EJ has been outmaneuvered, and they both know it, and watching Gwen stand in that certainty is genuinely satisfying after everything she has been put through on the other side of Salem. Xander is rushing to catch Destiny as she collapses, and Sarah is immediately in full doctor mode working on her. And in one of those coincidences that Salem does so well, JJ and Javi happen to be walking through at exactly the right moment, and they jump right into action. They get Destiny on a stretcher as Sarah keeps doing chest compressions, and they rush to the hospital. But it is not enough. Destiny does not make it, and that loss lands hard. It is one of those moments that reminds you this show can still pack a real emotional punch when it wants to. Sarah is devastated, and the three men around her, Xander, JJ, and Javi, all take time to sit with her in that grief and try to help her through it. JJ shares something that is meant to help but kind of cuts in a complicated direction. He has dealt with Destiny before in his work as a cop, and she had a history of drug problems. He is not saying it cruelly. He is saying it to give Sarah some context, to help her not blame herself. But Sarah pushes back. She was with Destiny, she was looking at her, and she did not see any signs of someone who was high. Nothing that she recognizes from her medical experience matched the profile of a drug-related episode. And then once JJ and Javi give them some space, Xander stays with Sarah. Because of course he does. And Sarah is doing the thing that doctors do when they lose a patient, which is take the loss completely onto herself. If she had done more, she tells him, Destiny could be alive. She is sure it was not drugs, and she just missed whatever it actually was. And Xander, who is not always the most emotionally articulate person in the room, gives her exactly what she needs in this moment. He tells her how incredible she is as a doctor. He gives her a genuine, grounded pep talk that is not just reassurance for the sake of it but feels real and specific to her. And then he offers to take her home so she can rest, which is such a quietly tender thing to do. Xander and Sarah in these softer moments continue to be something really worth watching, and we close on Leo, who is heading home through the square after his very heavy conversation with Gwen, and he spots JJ and Javi and stops to say hello. And for a moment there is a little bit of lightness back in Leo's energy as he chats with them. But then JJ casually mentions that Gus is going to be joining them, and Leo's good mood takes a hit. Just like that. The mention of Gus is enough to change the whole texture of Leo's evening, and that reaction tells you there is history there that is going to matter. It is a small moment, but it is doing exactly what closing beats on this show are supposed to do, which is leave you with a question and a reason to tune in tomorrow to today's episode of Days of Our Lives was doing a lot of things at once, as the best episodes of this show always do. The Carver family moments continue to be the emotional heartbeat of this run of stories. Gwen operating with complete composure while dismantling EJ's empire from the inside out is a joy to watch. And Sarah and Xander in quiet moments together remain one of the more grounded and genuinely affecting dynamics on the canvas right now. All of it coming together in one episode is a really good day for Days, and if you are not watching right now, you are missing something special.